Hey everyone, Zenkaiger here, filling in for Ryder with a written review of the Ultimate Seiken set from Kamen Rider Saber, released in the premium Bandai range as a companion piece to the previously released Seiken Rekka Sound Update Edition the year prior. This is an upscale version of Seiken Sword Driver and an upgraded version to the previously released in China. Taking a look at the long box, we have a slick front cover with Saber and the name of the product alongside the back consisting of blades and a spada on all sides of the box. Taking it out of the box requires you to open it from the front, and as you'll see, you'll be greeted with the contents of the set. 3 emblems, a portion of the instruction manual, scan the QR code for the full version, and lastly the Seiken blade itself. Looking at the Seiken, this is a 230% increase from the DX counterpart, lastly making the DX version puny in comparison. Also, as a result of it not being 1-to-1 with the prop scale. Also, comparing it to the Zanglass Sword Memorial Edition, it easily beats it. Unlike the Chinese release, which was literally an upscale from the DX version, this release takes it up a notch and adds silver paint to the entire Seiken, giving it a nice metallic silver finish. Though, just be careful with handling it, as the paint can easily be rubbed off when playing with it. Speaking of handling, this is a very weighty piece, as I'll recommend that you handle it with 2 hands, as attempting to replicate the actions from the show will cause your hand to become sore from all that weight, especially when it comes to the Seiken emblems. Seiken emblems are made up of the same clear plastic that the DX ones are made up of, just more durable and make this really fun plastic sound. In comparison to those versions, they're significantly bigger and easily dwarf them. But now, to play with the Seiken, all you need to do is provide 3 AAA batteries under the back of the Seiken handle. And you have 2 options for modes. Simply switching the switch into on will set the Seiken into its default mode, while holding down the trigger and switching it on will set it into voice mode. By default, without an emblem attached, the Seiken will be set to Seiken Rekka, so the emblem can be easily set into the gap within the middle. Unlike the DX version, the emblems no longer have NFC chips within, instead simply relying on a button press within the Seiken's gap here for when each Seiken is activated. They have only one sole slashing sound in dialogue mode, and just like the Sound Update Edition, you have 4 character cries per slash. What you can also do at this point is press this back button once to cycle through 6 BGM tracks from the series, which are the following: I Will Decide the End of the Story, Deadly Reading, Kamen Rider Saber Theme, Wonder Combo, Almighty the Master Promise TV Size, and Rewrite the Story short version. Now then, to transform into your respective forms of each rider, you need to hold down the BGM button and wait until that form-specific sequence of sounds is up to standby and then let it go. Speaking of which, the forms that are included with this toy are the following. For Saber, you have Brave Dragon, Crimson Dragon, Dragonic Knight, Emotional Dragon, Primitive Dragon, Elemental Primitive Dragon, Superhero Senki, and Almighty Saber, which the latter 2 forms were later additions due to the space still being present within the board, as they were not going to be included originally because of their respective books being released within the same time frame. For blades, you have Lion Senki, Fantastic Lion, King Lion Dai Senki, and Tatakami Hiloju Senki. And finally, for Espada, you have Lambda Alangina and Golden Alangina. Unfortunately, Arabiana Night couldn't have been included due to the Winter Ride book not being released yet, but it's neither here nor there. For the dialogue, they all carry over from the Sound Update Edition, excluding Superhero Senki, as they come from their respective Wonder Ride books themselves. Then, to do the Hisatsugiri, just hold down the trigger and then let it go and initiate the attack sound. As you can tell, the majority of the sounds are going off of their first appearances, unless it's Emotional Dragon, which never got to do a Hisatsugiri on screen. Also to note with this release, there are no bell finishers as they expect you to do those sounds within the sound update version. Lastly, by pressing the Wonder Mark at the tip of the Seiken, you can also do the Shitoku Isens. However, to stay accurate to the show, you can only do one book selection at a time. With this button, it includes the main book finishers for Saber, Blades, Espada, Buster, Kenzan, and Slash, and the transformation books for Caliber, Sabella, Durandal, and the unreleased Kinobuki Gennobuki book. And of course for Wonder Almighty, which is the only sound to play on its sequence. Now, I'm going to be honest with you all, I don't actually have this sword in my collection, but given the fact that I've seen multiple videos about this product itself, it's definitely one of the more definitive experiences, and probably the first instance of a memorial/CSM style item to be released within the toy line's year. I mean, sure, it's not perfect, but it has all of the major bells and whistles, accurate attack sounds, the henshin tunes, all of the stuff is included. And sure that it is going to be a heavy piece of equipment, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be discouraged. Now sure there are a few glaring flaws included with this, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives in this sense. Now if I had the time, the space, and the money, I would buy this in a heartbeat. And sure, it would be a little bit weird to have a giant sword in my room, but I think just for this instance, I'd be fine with it. I mean, after all, I love Saber to pieces. However, though, for Ryder's opinions on this, he thinks it's a nice diversion from the typical Memorial release, as since this release doesn't need to worry about dumping character phrases, as it's allowed to focus on the handling and the appearance aspects alongside the traditional one-to-one reconstruction of the transformations and finishers. Though he thinks there were a couple of weird inclusions, or rather exclusions, with this release. For example, Kento's finisher announcement for Golden Alangina, as it was present in the sound update edition, is removed. Wonder Almighty playing sounds that were not present in the show, and of course the emblems have a tendency of being knocked out the Seiken during play, causing their chrome to flake off as well, which is a bit of an annoying flaw. He also wanted to bring up that because of how loud this toy is, Bandai themselves suggested to consumers just put tape over the loudspeaker. But like I said before, however, the positives outweigh the negatives despite the glaring choices that they've made. But in my personal opinion, it's a fine addition to any CSM style collection, and of course it did pave the way for future releases, because as it stands right now, there are 3 Ultimate Dai Seikens out there on the market right now, which I think is awesome. Before I say thanks for watching, and this is Zenkaiger signing out, Ryder just wanted me to let you all know thank you for getting to 1,000 subscribers, and that he's sorry it took him 3 years to film the 1,000 subscriber special. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye-bye.